Hi, I'm McCormick, and today I'll be persuading you and all of America on why we need to resume back to normalcy. So obviously, ever since COVID-19 became a pandemic, America and other countries around the world have been freaking out about how bad it is because people seem to be dying left and right, when the fact is those people would have really died in the next 1 to 5 years, sadly, according to statistics, just because your immune system isn't the same. You're just as likely to get taken by the flu or tuberculosis, because tuberculosis has a 15% mortality rate. It's not as contagious as the coronavirus. And so first off, we need to establish that we need to resume back to normalcy when it comes to our economy, meaning our jobs and our workplace, also our schools and our personal lives. So when you first start off with our economy, we've spent about $6 trillion on this virus already, which includes preventing it and the actual cure for it. And currently we're doing a pretty good job about that, because it was first projected that we would have 60 or about 500,000 cases or deaths because of the coronavirus. And currently we're only projected to go to either 60 at the best circumstance and 200,000 at the worst. And so what we really need to be doing is getting people back to their jobs. Now, the people who are healthy enough to get back to their jobs, meaning you're not of the older community, you have a great immune system, you don't have any underlying problems. Now, I think we should have the choice to be going back to work, and you should not be penalized for not going back to work in case you feel unsafe, because that's your safety and it's your choice. And so we should not be firing or penalizing you for not going back to work. But because a lot of our jobs we cannot do online, we do have to be going back into the workplace. And because America's kind of making itself a pretty big hole, $6 trillion is a lot of money. And when people are not out and about spending or making money, our economy comes to a grinding halt. And also, all that money we're spending, our government takes a portion of that money, which is taxes. And those taxes go to build roads, to improve our schools, prisons, maintain our prisons, and then also help out our hospitals, which none of that is happening right now because no one's spending any money, because people are hoarding right now, which is why you see people with so many rolls of toilet paper, because they're preparing for the absolute worst possibility. And now when it comes to schools, most schools in the Asian area over there has gone back to normalcy. Now, they saw the virus about a month or two before we did, but the fact of the matter is, making a prediction is that China is not really giving us all their cases, but they know that the younger population is not likely to die from it. Now, they did a study in China where they took 2,000 cases of COVID-19 in people 18 and younger, and only one of them died, and that was just because of circumstance. It was a 14-year-old, she didn't have the best immune system, and sadly she passed. Now, what we need to do at our schools is we need to have the parents really take control of this. So you should have the right to be able to tell your kid, yeah, you can go out there, go back to class, have human interaction. And you could also have another parent say, you can stay home, you can learn online because grandma lives upstairs and we can't give her the coronavirus. Now, both should be acceptable, but you should still have to go to online school and do the same work as the kids who do go to the school. And I think teachers have the same right too. I think they should have the right to say, I can go back to work, I'm willing to take the risk, I'm willing to put my life on the line for these kids and their knowledge. Or you can have a teacher who says, I don't know if it's worth it. I think I'm just going to teach my class online, which is totally fine. And also, we need to set up checkpoints at these schools, kind of like we're doing in the hospitals. We're testing everybody's temperature to see if they have a fever. And if you have a fever, you should be sent right home. But I would recommend staying away from the hospital unless you feel like you're in it's life-threatening. Because if you go to the hospital, not only do you risk getting more sick from other diseases, but you also run that risk of giving it to somebody else, giving it to a doctor, giving it to another patient who might not have the best immune system. And also in these schools and at our jobs, we need to implement where you need to be wearing a mask and gloves and practicing social distancing. Now, I know that's not plausible for all jobs, but we need to try to do our best and prevent the spread. So even if you are susceptible to getting it, you don't want to get sick. It's just like the flu. You just don't want to get sick. So why not take those precautionary warnings and wash your hands and wear a mask? And now when you come back to our social lives, we lose about 2.7 million Americans every year from disease, according to the CDC. And we lose about 3 million people annually. So a huge chunk of that's from disease. And sadly, the people who do die from it are projected to die in the next 1 to 5 years. And so when are we going to draw a line in the sand and say it's not worth it? Because right now our economy has come to a screeching stop and it's not looking good for the future. So the stock market's down, people aren't spending money. When are we going to decide that we need to go back to work? We need to make money so our country and our children and the people around us can prosper. Because right now, for me personally, being a healthy young person, the most likely way I'm to die is from a car accident. So what are you going to do? Take my car keys and say I can't go drive? That doesn't make any sense. So I think people should have the right to go back to work, make their own money, and you need to realize it's your own responsibility. It's your responsibility if you're not feeling well to stay out of work. It's your responsibility not to hang out with the older population. And it's your responsibility to keep the people around you safe. Thank you, and I really hope this changed your mind.